How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be testing out the Staff of Armadyl. Now, this is obviously not my own staff. This has been loaned to me to make this video with, so thank you so much to Deadlocks. I really appreciate it, dude. It is absolutely awesome, and I'm very excited to test this out in a lot of places. Now, what we're going to do in this video is basically just take the staff to bosses that I have done in the past with quite a lot of magic stuff. As you guys know, I use magic a lot, and even when it was just not that good, I was still using magic in a lot of places just because it's a lot of fun. So I have a feel of what sort of like level magic was on in those places, personally at least anyway, so I could compare using this staff to when I just used to use a staff of Cereu. So we're gonna definitely go and give that a shot. That's what we're going to do in this video. I just wanted to let you guys know though, this is not going to be like the RS guy level sort of stuff for testing out weapons, because he does an absolute ridiculously amazing amount of work and time into those videos, and he gives so much like breakdown on math and DPS increases and all that sort of stuff. We're just going to basically try it out in places, give it a shot, and I'll talk about my thoughts on it, how it sort of fit in, and yeah, that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope that it gives you an idea of whether you want to get the staff yourself or not. Obviously, you're probably going to want to get it anyway. Look at it, it's freaking badass. But overall, that is our goal for the video. So if you do enjoy, leave a like on it, do subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get into this, shall we? So before we get started and before we go to our first bosses, there's a few things that you should know about the staff. It is a tier 95 staff and it has an accuracy of 2765. This is in comparison to the 2577 accuracy of the Staff of Cereu, so that is quite a nice increase in accuracy, and it's definitely going to be nice to have that at some bosses as well. The special attack doesn't need to be an essence of finality. You can keep it on the staff itself, and not only that, once you've used it on the staff, you can still fortick, you can use wand and orb, you can go back to staff, and if you crit while you are off of the staff, so you are using wand and an orb and then you still crit, it will still use the staff's effect. So whether you have the staff equipped or not, the staff effect will still go on for 30 seconds. That being said, the staff special attack does last for 30 seconds, and then it also has a 1 minute cooldown once it has been cast, meaning you have 30 seconds uptime, 30 seconds downtime, and then you can recast the staff spec as well. It costs 50% adrenaline to use the staff spec, and the way it works is as soon as you land a crit while this is up, you will also fire off an auto attack, meaning the spell that you have auto casted will be fired at the target as well. Pair this with things like a Grimoire, the Greater Concentrated Blast ability, and the Channeler's Ring, and you can actually fire off a hell of a lot of crits. There's a lot of things as well. Things like Shadow Tendrils is now an amazing ability as well, as it is guaranteed crits, but every time you send off a crit, while the staff spec is up, you will also use another auto attack. It will be forced, whether you have the staff equipped or whether you're on a wand and orb. It doesn't matter, it will still go through. So forticking is still a thing, which was like my biggest concern with this, so that's very exciting to know about. But other than that, guys, there's not all that much more to know, other than it looks like a freaking badass stick, and I'm so glad that it doesn't have to be put in an essence of finality. Anyway, guys, let's go to our first boss, shall we? Okay, so the Ambassador is the kill that you're watching first, and honestly, this absolutely blew me away. Now, this took a few tries, so what I was doing is I was going in, and as soon as I would get towards the last phase of the fight, I would teleport out because I didn't want to have to rerun the whole dungeon again. I wanted to be able to test it out here, improve a little bit, practice, you know when to use the specs and all that sort of stuff, and see if I can figure it out better than what I was getting at the time. So I would teleport out and I would reset the kill. Now, on the third kill, I actually let it go through and I ended the kill because it just seemed so much faster. I wasn't watching my PR, I was focusing on the kill, and at the end of it, you can actually see here on screen, I knocked 55 seconds off of my personal record. Now, the personal record that I have here is actually with magic as well, as I was doing it recently for the Road to an ECB series that is now shortly ended. But at the same time, I was using a Grimoire, I was using a Staff of Cereu rather than the new staff. But now with this new staff and with Greater Concentrated Blast, I've knocked 55 seconds off of that. That is an insane amount of time to knock off of a kill with nothing else changed. Just literally the Greater Concentrated Blast Codex and the Staff of Armadyl. So what I found from this was it's not actually that difficult to use Sunshine and get straight back to the 50% you need for the Staff of Armadyl spec, and then also rebuild your adrenaline back up to 50% for thresholds as well. Now, of course, you can use Limitless too, which I definitely did use. I would use the Sunshine, and then I would use Staff of Armadyl, and then I would use the Limitless ability to be able to fire off thresholds straight away. But that being said, you can use Greater Concentrated Blast, and if you do get the crits, auto attacks also give you adrenaline too. So when the auto attacks fire off from the staff, holy hell, do you fill up on adrenaline really quickly. You can get back to your thresholds super quick, and using this I had absolutely no troubles whatsoever. Getting through one cycle was absolutely cake. Now before it was a little bit close because I was using magic and when it wasn't as strong as it is now, and it was a little bit close. So it is such like a breeze now, and knocking 55 seconds off of a kill time is absolutely crazy. So at this boss, the staff works absolute wonders, and I literally have no complaints whatsoever. It wasn't too difficult to fit into the rotations. Every time I use Sunshine, I would just use my Staff of Armadyl spec as well. I didn't use the staff spec for the spinners, but with the accuracy, with the extra damage, it literally was a breeze to go through those as well. Using Greater Concentrator Blast on those spinners each and every time was pretty much what I did, and they were gone pretty damn fast. The kill you're watching in the background isn't the one where I knocked all that time off because I was stupid and forgot to record it, so I did have to rerun the dungeon to get you guys another kill. But even so, this one was another 30 seconds off from what my original one was, but knocking 55 off in the beginning, I just can't believe it. That was absolutely crazy. Alright, so that's enough of Ambassador. Let's take a look at another boss. So with Cereu, we did the exact same thing. We would go through the dungeon, got to the end, and then I would teleport out before I killed Cereu off to make sure I could go back in and try and improve in any way that I could. Now, I feel like I've got a little bit of a wall here and something that I could not necessarily bypass myself without doing a little bit more research, or quite a lot more research and a lot more practice. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to talk about how the way I do Cereu and the way the staff perform that way. Now, the first phase went super quick. We were jumping up like before Sunshine was even ready again sometimes, so that was a little bit awkward. So I got to the point where I had to sort of delay that off, as doing the crystals without Sunshine just isn't something I wanted to do. I stacked the staff spec and the Sunshine spec right away at the beginning, and then also again every time I jumped up. The first crystals would absolutely melt. Again, you can build your adrenaline up very quickly once the staff spec is on, so it's definitely still worth spending that 50% adrenaline to do so. And the crystals just melted. I got through this very quickly. However, because of the way I do Cereu, it was still a 2-cycle kill. I don't understand how I would do this on a 1-cycle on magic just yet. I may have to work this out in the future once I get my hands on a staff for myself, and then maybe look at the way that you would do it without onslaughting the crystal in the middle. Now that being said, the crystal in the middle, just by onslaughting it, actually brought it down to 9k health. Now of course I would have still been pulled down and have to do a 2-cycle, so the time wasn't all that much increased, but it would mean that when I jump up, I only really needed to kill one crystal on the second jump, and then 9k damage on the other one. So it did increase my kill time a hell of a lot, and I really highly doubt that for anyone who knows how to 1-cycle Cereu, like the rotations and how you should do it, and I'm sure if I could figure out myself on the right rotations and stuff, that this would be absolutely possible to 1-cycle on here. Now I'm sure for you guys that are incredible PVMers, the people who know exactly what to do at exactly what tick, you guys could probably fly through this fairly easily, get some 1-cycles, and I really highly doubt that you'd struggle. So the staff at Cereu worked absolutely great. Not to mention, there's a few things you can do throughout the dungeon. For example, there is the big area where all those melee warriors are, and you have to clear that full room. If you pull them all together and then set your staff to auto cast barrage, the screenshot I'm showing you on screen now is actually just the Greater Concentrator Blast. All those hits is just from that, because I crit on every single hit. Now, if you use magic tendrils here, you could do the exact same. And of course, if you also have the Greater Chain ability on a Coroming 4, you would be able to, like, you'll be non-stop. Like, it will be so much damage. I don't have that on the staff as it is just budget temporary perks at the moment, but you can imagine how fast you could clear this off. The next place I went to was Kerapak. Now this was just the normal mode, as I am still trying to get myself a hard mode kill in solo. I haven't done any in trio or duo yet. I just want to get this done in solo. I am too stubborn, I suppose. I just want to be able to do it. Now, I've not done it since stream, the ones that you guys all saw on stream. If you watched that was such a fun thing. But this boss is so damn fun. Now, the staff works wonders here. It is so damn good. Having the time warp that lets you have all your adrenaline back, you can stack the Sunshine and the staff spec so damn well, and obviously you can have asphyxiate back. You can do a lot of stuff with it. But the clip that you're watching now is a thing that I want to talk about. With this, you can actually completely skip all mechanics except for the first one, where he will stun you and shoot the little beams of light out. That is the only mechanic that you need to have if you can do the DPS. Now, of course, I'm not the best at DPS, and for some reason, every time I did this, I just was like a slightly, little DPS behind than what I needed to be. You can definitely do this, and I have done it in the past, but you will never see any other mechanic if you can do the DPS right here. Now, that means you can get ridiculously fast kills in normal mode, and I know for a fact that this staff works wonders in hard mode as well. Unfortunately, I am not the best at hard mode, so I won't be including it in this, but eventually if I get one of these staffs myself pretty soon, as soon as I can use it in hard mode, I will show you guys how it performs there too. But I'm fairly confident that you've already probably seen the RS guy or a few other guys using it there, and it works absolutely great. Alright, so the final place that I tested this out for the video is actually Raksha. Now I know this is somewhere that you just wouldn't really think to use magic at, especially since there's so much to do with like 4-ticking, prayer flicking, positioning, like there's just a lot to think about. But I liked using magic at Raksha in the past, and even though it was really slow, like it was definitely a lot slower, I figured I'd try it again with the staff and see how it goes with that. Basically, this staff performed really well there. It was so good. Honestly, this staff has actually blown me away in so many different ways. So I only did a few kills in solo, and I actually didn't manage to pre-phase the mage bomb on the phase 1. However, it is definitely possible to do. Every time I did it, I really stressed myself out. I forgot to use smoke cloud, or I forgot to turn my grim on, or I wasn't overloaded. There was always something, and I know for a fact that with a bit of practice and making sure I don't forget these things, that I could definitely get through that quite easily. Now that is actually pretty impressive, considering I tried a lot without this staff in the past, and it's just not something that I could do. I'm sure some of you guys that DPS a hell of a lot better than me could probably do it, but that being said, you guys would be able to then do the exact same with the staff. So you can use magic at Raksha if you want to use the staff here, but there is a few issues, and I will talk about a few more of them at the end, a little bit more in depth. But overall, the staff the magic and the staff just isn't worth using at Raksha. Range works a hell of a lot better, it is still faster, and of course, even though I am convinced that I could probably match or beat my personal record with range using magic now, it just wouldn't be worth doing, because the costs of using this would have been with Grim, all the runes that the staff uses, because holy hell does this staff eat through runes, and it's a lot more effort using 4-ticking and prayer flicking. You're definitely going to eat more, so you're going to have to end up eating more food, which costs more money as well. It just doesn't sort of make sense to do. You can definitely do it if you want to do it. It's a lot of fun in my opinion, but it's probably not worth doing at the end of the day. So I'd say range is still king at Raksha, and who would have guessed? Okay, so overall thoughts to the staff. Well, to be put it simply, I absolutely love it. I think it is brilliant. I think they have done a absolute great job of designing it. There's just a few issues that I do have with it, but I mean, no, they're not really issues that I'm bothered about. It's just the fact of like whether it's worth using over range still. Now, magic is in a really good place. I took 55 seconds off Ambassador, and this staff with Great Concentrated Blast and all the other little extras have really helped out. Like that's been a big deal to it. But that being said, this staff is so damn expensive to run. If you want to use anything other than Exsanguinate, even then that can still be pretty expensive. If you think about it, every time you crit, it is going to send out an auto attack that will use one of the runes as well. Like it costs runes to use the extra auto attack that you are getting from it. Now this does add up, and it can get really expensive, but not only that, to get these times, to get the kill times that I've had and kind of match where range is at, I had to use the Grimoire. I had to have the Grimoire on, and if I didn't have it on, I don't think I would get anywhere near, because having Grimoire on obviously increases your crit chance by a hell of a lot. Like it's 12% increased crit chance, like consistently. So adding that up with the Channeler's Ring and all of the concentrated blast hits, it does make you crit like so much. You are critting like more than you're not almost at this point, but it is so expensive to run. Grimoire is ridiculously expensive. One, you don't have Ring of Death on as well, and obviously deaths are going to be pretty pricey with this. At the moment they're free, so I was able to do that, but I probably wouldn't suggest like using this anywhere without the Ring of Death on if you are not confident with it. Obviously, if you are confident, you have all the money, you're not bothered about a death here and there, then yes, the Channeler's Ring is definitely what you want to use. But the cost of running this with the Grimoire is super high, and the runes is super high. When I used the Onslaught earlier, showing you guys that you can Onslaught for pretty much for the whole duration of the stat spec, which is 30 seconds. This works because the dummy, you can set it to max hit, which is a crit every single time, and then the auto attacks that it's sending out is critting as well, and auto attacks give you adrenaline. Now, when the auto attack crits, the staff sends another auto attack out, so it kind of all stacks up and it spams the crap out of it, and you never lose adrenaline. But the only problem with that is you are attacking so many times with auto attacks that you are firing out runes like absolutely nothing. I shit you not, I went through around about 10k water runes for showing people this 3 or 4 times. 10k water runes. Now, keep that in mind. That meant I went through a hell of a lot of blood runes, like a couple of thousand blood runes, and that was just from onslaughting 3 times. Of course, you're not going to do that in a normal place. You can't do that outside the dummies, but hey-oh, this staff eats through runes. Now, that's to me not a problem. This staff is strong as hell. It is absolutely like wrecking through places, and it makes magic like just as strong as the other styles, I'd say at this point. I will be 100% getting my hands on one of these as soon as possible. The cost to use it, I'm not too fussed about. I love using it. It's super fun, and it's magic. At the end of the day, I'm going to get all the magic stuff I can get, and I would highly suggest, if you guys love magic, that you work towards getting one of these, because not only does it look badass, it works badass as well. With that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope that the video has helped you decide whether you want to use the staff or not, whether you want to work towards getting one, and just to give you a little bit of information on it. If it has, or if you enjoyed the video at all, leave a like on it. Do subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. There's a Twitch link in the description below if you want to follow that and see me live on Twitch as well. And thank you all to my channel members for your extra support. If anyone else is interested in joining the channel members, there's a join button by the sub button. You can see what perks you get while being a channel member, while you also support me as well. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.